What if the Jedi found Hogwarts in the Star Wars galaxy? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Deep within the Forbidden Forest, a shadowy presence stirs. Palpatine trudges through the ancient woods, keeping his cloak pulled close and his lightsaber ready as he trudges alone. His only companions are the whispers around him, all trying to mislead and frighten him. But he blocks those out, trusting the pull of the Force to guide him. As he draws nearer, the presence grows more powerful. In contrast, the voices grow more urgent until he finally spots an ancient Sith Holocron, hidden among the twisted roots and decaying leaves, pulsating with malevolent energy. Palpatine smiles as he examines it, sensing something more than just knowledge. Someone is inside it. He wraps his fingers around the holocron. He can sense the presence within it. Voldemort's lingering essence, desperate for a body. The Chancellor smiles as he reaches into the Force, using it to pull the essence within himself. Voldemort senses the darkness in Palpatine and welcomes the change, letting the fuse occur as his memories, thoughts, and most importantly, his powers flow into Palpatine. As they fuse into one, the being that emerges is neither Sith nor wizard, but something far darker. Darth Voldemort. All around him, the shadows in the Forbidden Forest stir, taking shape as Death Eaters. They are shocked to see this change, but one by one, they begin to kneel. But he knows he must act quickly. The disturbance he felt in the Force when he discovered this place is likely being sensed by the Jedi too. Palpatine orders his new minions to remain in hiding for the time being, until it becomes time to reveal themselves. Back on Coruscant, the Jedi all gather as they feel a strange disturbance in the Force, just as Palpatine predicted. It is as if a veil was just lifted in a part of the galaxy, revealing something new. The strange reverberations they feel are concentrated in one place, a planet that is particularly strong with the Force. The Jedi all assemble and organize an expedition to learn about this place. Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka are sent to investigate. Soon, a sleek Jedi cruiser glides through hyperspace as the small group discusses their next move. Anakin eyes the coordinates warily. This feels like another wild goose chase. First it was Mortis, now whatever this is. What's next? A planet full of Wookiee philosophers?
Let's just hope it's not another place that's going to mess with our heads. I've had enough cryptic riddles for one lifetime.
Anakin, I'd appreciate it if you didn't tempt fate. The last thing we need is for the Force to take your jokes as a challenge.
Quite an adventure you three have had. But learn to respect the unknown, you must.
As they exit hyperspace, the feeling of the Force shifts, familiar yet strange, as though intertwined with another energy entirely. The Jedi exchange uneasy glances, sensing that whatever lies ahead is far beyond their understanding. They are immediately struck by the towering trees of the Forbidden Forest, their gnarled branches casting long shadows. The forest hums with life, but it's not the same natural rhythm they are accustomed to. It almost seems alive.
I don't like this.
Nor do I. Stay alert. We don't know what we're walking into.
The deeper they venture, the stronger the sense of energy becomes, as if the forest itself is alive with a sentient presence. Finally, they reach the edge of a clearing, and there it stands, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Yet there is an ominous edge to its beauty, a shadow clinging to its walls, as though it too feels the corruption brewing within. The gates creak open, and a figure steps out to meet them. Albus Dumbledore approaches them curiously.
Welcome. I am Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. You must be the travelers I sensed approaching. Yoda, I am. Jedi, we are. Traveled a long way, we have, to understand this place.
The Jedi?
Fascinating. Your arrival is most timely, though I fear it may also be most perilous. Please, come inside. There is much to discuss.
As they follow Dumbledore into the castle, the Jedi are shocked at what they see. While they sensed a strong presence in the Force, they never expected to see anything like this. Moving staircases, talking portraits, and floating candles. powers and abilities beyond even what the greatest Jedi can muster. But here they see young children, some the age of younglings, able to channel them. Dumbledore leads them to his office.
It is impressive, isn't it? I have spent many years training young wizards and witches to master their craft, but I have sensed something, a darkness spreading. It does not feel entirely of this world, nor entirely of your own. If you truly wish to learn about my world, then perhaps we should start there.
We sensed the disturbance through the Force. Perhaps we could aid each other.
I agree. Together we can uncover the source of this darkness. You may remain here in Hogwarts. Perhaps you can serve as teachers. It can help you learn about our world and allow you to remain here without raising suspicion.
Whatever it is, we'll stop it.
I hope you're right, young Jedi. For all our sakes.
The Jedi representatives, now guests of Hogwarts, integrate themselves into the daily life of the school, both to try and understand this world of magic and to teach the students about their powers. Yoda takes a particular interest in the students, showing them how to hone their skills through meditation. It may help them focus and learn to strengthen their spells. His presence becomes a source of intrigue and amusement for many students. Ron, in particular, is eager to learn from him. He finds Yoda's relaxed presence welcoming and joins him in these meditation sessions. The two discuss the similarities and differences between spells and force abilities. Anakin, true to form, throws himself into learning about magic with his characteristic curiosity and energy, and its practical capabilities. He marvels at the moving staircases and enchanted objects, comparing them to the advanced technology he's used to. Hermione gravitates towards him, and the two spend long hours discussing how their world works. Harry, meanwhile, finds himself drawn to Obi-Wan. There's a quiet strength in the Jedi Knight that reminds Harry of Dumbledore. They often talk late into the evening, sharing stories of battles fought and losses endured. Harry listens intently as Obi-Wan speaks of the Clone Wars and his time as a Jedi, while Obi-Wan in turn is struck by Harry's adventures. While the Jedi are more than capable of teaching the Force, Ahsoka also shows off her lightsaber abilities, something that attracts the attention of Ginny Weasley, who in turn shows Ahsoka Quidditch. Despite the growing camaraderie, the Jedi remain focused on their mission. They work closely with Dumbledore to investigate the dark presence that looms over Hogwarts. They pore through ancient records from Hogwarts and the Jedi archives for any indications of what might be happening. The most common belief they have is that there might be the ruins of a Sith shrine, as it has a corrupting influence. But though they search the woods and castle grounds, they find nothing of the sort. Their meditations are equally confusing. They feel a strange sensation, as though the Force itself has been warped. It's not just the presence of dark energy, it's something deeper, more insidious, as though the natural flow of the Force has been tangled with threads of magic. Dumbledore strokes his long beard thoughtfully as he considers this information.
There is one place. A legend, you might say. A hidden chamber beneath the school was built by Salazar Slytherin himself. It was long believed to be a mere myth, but Harry and his friends proved otherwise in Harry's second year.
A hidden chamber? That would explain why we felt nothing on the surface. If this shrine exists, it's likely buried deep, below your castle.
The Chamber of Secrets was once used to house a basilisk, a creature of dark magic. Though it was slain years ago, I had thought or perhaps hoped that slaying it would be the end of it. I will lead you there. Though I must warn you, the magic of that place is ancient and unpredictable. We must be on our guard.
As they prepare to leave, the sound of hurried footsteps echo outside the office door. Before anyone can react, the door bursts open, and Harry, Ginny, Hermione, and Ron stumble in, out of breath.
You're going to the Chamber of Secrets, aren't you? We're coming with you.
Dumbledore raises a hand to protest, but Anakin chuckles.
Looks like you've got some stowaways, Master Dumbledore. I've got to say, I like their spirit.
If there's something dangerous down there, you'll need us. We've been to the chamber before, and we know the risks.
Yeah, not that I want to go back down there or anything, but you might need backup, right?
Fear in you there is, but courage, too. Aid us, you may. It's not their courage that worries me. It's their recklessness.
I'd say you get used to it, but unfortunately now I have 2 of them.
Ahsoka and Anakin both flash him a smile as Hermione leads the way, taking them to the hidden entrance by the girls' bathroom. Harry steps forward, speaking in parcel tongue to reveal the hidden passage. The sink falls away, revealing the dark, ominous tunnel leading below. As they climb down, the air grows colder and heavier. The dark presence that the Jedi had felt before now pulses with an almost tangible malevolence. Harry's scar begins to prickle painfully, and even the Jedi exchange wary glances. The 4 ignite their lightsabers while the wizards and witches raise their wands. The group presses on, reaching the vast serpentine chamber. Its towering pillars and carved serpents loom over them, and the stillness is suffocating. But as they examine the ruins, there is something eerily familiar about them. The deeper they go, some of these ruins take a shape closer to ancient Sith architecture. Yoda steps closer to examine them, but as he does, shadow begins to ripple across the chamber walls, taking form. Figures draped in tattered black robes emerge, their faces obscured, their shapes shimmering with a malevolent energy. Sith wraiths. The room erupts into chaos. Dumbledore and Hermione immediately raise their wands, sending bursts of light and fire toward the wraiths. Several dissipate immediately, but others rush forward. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka ignite their lightsabers and leap into action. Anakin charges forward, deflecting a wraith's attack with a quick sweep of his lightsaber. With the immediate area clear, they regroup.
Sword and shield maneuver, everyone.
The 4 Jedi form a protective square, while the Hogwarts students form up behind them, throwing spells at the enemies from a distance. The Jedi's lightsabers, meanwhile, defend against those that get too close. Rather than stay in position, though, they advance, keeping a close formation. But as they draw nearer, the wraiths switch tactics. Some starting to cast spells and others drawing lightsabers. The group is shocked to see this, but does not have time to ponder it as they continue to advance. But the battle is slow going as they must contend with these new attacks. Though they are used to fighting against lightsabers, the spells are more difficult as they cannot deflect them, forcing them to dodge and break formation. Likewise, the wizards and witches have never faced weapons like this before, and the surprise is enough to weaken them. Ron in particular finds it hard to keep up. He fumbles the words of a spell, allowing one wraith to close in on him. Obi-Wan sees the danger and dives in, slicing through the wraith just as it reaches Ron. But in the process, another wraith slashes across his shoulder with its lightsaber.
Master!
Ahsoka leaps to his side and cuts down the wraith with a quick, precise strike. Ron helps Obi-Wan to his feet and lets him lean on them.
I'm fine. Focus on the fight.
The battle rages on, the wraiths seemingly endless. Harry uses his Patronus to drive several of them back, while Hermione casts protective charms around the group, while Ron protects Obi-Wan. Ginny and Ahsoka fight back to back, their movements fluid and precise, while Yoda dances through the chaos with surprising agility, cutting through the wraiths. Anakin unleashes his raw power and drives them back. Finally, the last of the wraiths is dissipated, leaving the group panting and bruised, but alive. Anakin leans against a pillar and glances at Ron.
Good job protecting Obi-Wan, but always stay alert next time. Yeah, thanks.
Before they can catch their breath, however, a faint whisper fills the air, echoing through the chamber. It's an ancient, guttural language that sends chills down their spines. Harry clutches his scar, his face pale.
He knows we're here.
We must go. Now.
As the group retreats from the Chamber of Secrets, their footsteps echo through the dark, twisting tunnels. The ancient whisper that haunted the air lingers in their minds, its sinister tone impossible to forget. When they finally emerge into the cool night air of the castle grounds, everyone takes a moment to catch their breath.
Those were no ordinary phantoms. Their connection to the dark side was unmistakable. Sith wraiths, manifestations of a powerful dark presence.
Whoever or whatever is down there is strong on the dark side. It's feeding off the energy of that place.
Harry, his scar still aching, clutches his forehead with a trembling hand.
It's him. I felt his power. Voldemort. Or something worse.
If Voldemort's presence is tied to the Sith shrine, then the dark magic emanating from below must be destroyed. It is the source of his power here, and it is corrupting not just the castle, but the very balance of this world.
Destroying a Sith shrine isn't easy. They're built to endure, to resist the light. But if we don't act, it'll only grow stronger.
The Force. Tangled it is. The shrine's destruction. Essential it will be. Act swiftly, we must.
If the shrine is beneath the castle, wouldn't destroying it risk harming Hogwarts itself? Is there no other way?
The castle's magic is resilient, Miss Granger, but this corruption cannot be allowed to fester. If it's not purged, Hogwarts itself may become a vessel of darkness.
Far away, in a dark chamber lit only by the flickering glow of a Sith Holocron, Darth Voldemort smiles. He feels the disturbance through the Force, a ripple of defiance against his growing power.
So, they seek to meddle with forces they do not understand.
Rising to his feet, he turns to the group of masked Death Eaters standing before him.
The time has come. We attack Hogwarts at dawn.
Back in Dumbledore's office, the group continues to plan the best way to destroy the building, but they are interrupted by a shift in the air. The distant sound of a chilling moan echoes through the halls, followed by a bone-chilling gust of wind. Hogwarts erupts into chaos. The very stones of the castle tremble, and the torches flicker with an unnatural crimson hue. Voldemort smiles as he twists the castle's magic against itself. He animates the ghosts of Hogwarts, turning them into Sith wraiths. Nearly headless Nick, the Fat Friar, and the Grey Lady emerge, and shift into twisted versions of themselves as they glow a sinister red.
The castle is his now. All who resist will perish.
He floats ominously through the Great Hall, uttering an unearthly shriek and scattering students in terror as his hollow voice echoes. Nearly headless Nick, his head now fully detached and spinning unnaturally, leads a spectral charge against the students, his sword swinging around. Meanwhile, the Dementors, no longer bound to Voldemort's human form, have been reforged into monstrous enforcers. Their dark magic has manifested into lightsabers of an eerie black and crimson hue. They sweep through the castle, their attacks precise and devastating, leaving frost-coated paths in their wake. The students, unprepared for such a horrifying assault, scatter in panic. Hogwarts itself seems to rebel under Voldemort's influence. Staircases twist and shift wildly, refusing to obey their usual pattern. Doors slam shut or disappear altogether, trapping students in corridors or herding them into these spectral foes. Spells meant to protect the castle backfire, creating bursts of wind and unpredictable magic. Yoda springs into action, rushing through the corridors and fighting through the wraiths, dissipating them with his lightsaber while trying to use the Force to counteract some of the effects. He holds one door open long enough for students to usher in. Seeing this, Ron joins him and begins casting spells, some meant to counter the haywire magic and others to fight off the Dementors. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan, Dumbledore, and Ginny rush out to the courtyard, gathering the students there. They help lead them to safety or gather the stronger ones to try and counter the attacks. As they look out, they see a figure in the distance, Darth Voldemort. The Jedi freeze at the sight of him. Although Palpatine's appearance is unmistakable, his aura is something else. For the first time, he allows his dark energy to shine openly, proudly bearing the powers of the dark side. But there is more to him, not just the Force, but magic as well. He spreads his hands out, and behind him, a horde of Death Eaters and Snatchers rush to strike at the school to reinforce their wraiths. The Jedi spring into action alongside their professors and students. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka lead groups of students to safety, their lightsabers humming as they deflect strikes from their foes. Ahsoka, her movements swift and fluid, take down a wraith with a precise strike.
Stick together. Don't let them isolate you.
Some of the Quidditch team take to the air to provide some air support. Ginny directs students to where they are needed. One of them carries Yoda, who leaps between fighters, cutting down Death Eaters and dissipating wraiths. Anakin protects the first years, cutting down Dementors with savage grace. Dumbledore stands at the center of the chaos, his wand weaving intricate patterns as he counters the dark magic, suffusing the castle. His voice booms with authority, rallying the professors and students alike.
Stand together! Do not let fear consume you!
Despite their efforts, the onslaught is overwhelming. The wraiths and Dementors seem endless, and the castle's magic grows more unstable with every passing moment. As the defenders regroup in the Great Hall, battered but determined, Dumbledore searches for Anakin.
We cannot win like this. Voldemort is controlling everything. He is the key.
Me and Anakin can deal with him. But that shrine has to be destroyed. If we don't, there won't be a Hogwarts left to save.
Leave that to me.
As the battle rages, Yoda, Dumbledore, and Hermione quickly take command of the defenses, reorganizing the entire Hogwarts Academy for war. But as they deal with the invaders, Harry and Anakin make their way out, sneaking through one of the exits with the invisibility cloak. They pass through a section of the academy controlled by the Dementors, and carefully make their way out of school grounds to their camp just beyond the facility. At the top of the tower, Voldemort stands, his black robes billowing unnaturally. His crimson eyes burn with hatred as he gazes out over the battlefield, his hands raised to manipulate the corrupted magic of the castle. Harry removes the cloak, stepping into the moonlight. Anakin follows, his lightsaber igniting with a brilliant blue glow.
The boy who lived, and the chosen one. You dare to challenge me in my domain?
So, you were a Sith Lord all this time, Chancellor. Your reign of terror ends here.
You don't belong here. This isn't your world.
And yet it bends to my will. Anakin, you do not have to suffer with them. I have long seen potential in you. Join me, and I can harness it to its fullest.
I don't think so.
Voldemort moves with unnatural speed, conjuring massive waves of dark magic. Harry counters with powerful spells, his wand flashing with energy as he deflects Voldemort's attacks. Meanwhile, Anakin uses the Force to dissipate this attack. However, Voldemort sends out a series of tentacles to lash at Anakin. The young Jedi moves swiftly, dodging each attack and sliding through his defenses before using his lightsaber to hack them apart. He gets in close, trying to stab at him, but Darth Voldemort redirects the strike with magic and then throws him out. He unleashes a powerful shockwave between Anakin and Harry, forcing them to dive out of the way. Voldemort conjures a whirlwind of black fire. Harry creates a protective barrier, while Anakin leaps through these attacks, forcing Lord Voldemort to keep his attention on him. Harry, finding an opening, casts Expelliarmus, but Voldemort continues with a blast of raw magic that sends Harry sprawling. Voldemort summons a snake-like creature formed from pure darkness, sending it slithering toward Harry, but Anakin leaps over it and lands a powerful strike with his lightsaber, severing the creature in two. Harry casts Stupefy, momentarily stunning Voldemort. The duel intensifies as Voldemort begins to falter. Harry, tapping into his inner strength, summons his Patronus, a massive stag that charges Voldemort. He snaps his antlers up to try and gore Voldemort, who leaps out of the way. Anakin follows through, slashing through Voldemort's defenses and finally landing a strike across his side. Meanwhile, Ahsoka leads Ron, Ginny, and Neville through the castle's underground passages toward the Sith Shrine.
Stay close. The dark side is strong here. Don't let it overwhelm you.
What kind of spell do we use to destroy this place?
I was thinking of something a bit more practical.
She holds up a satchel she took from their ship, one filled with thermal detonators. Their eyes widen at the explosives. The trio ready their wands as they reach the shrine, which pulsates with dark energy. Apparitions swirl around it, but Ahsoka ignites her lightsaber, their white glow cutting through the darkness. The Wraiths attack, but the group fights back with everything they have. Neville's bravery shines as he casts spell after spell to hold the Wraiths at bay, while Ginny provides cover fire with precise hexes. Ron begins placing the explosives on support columns, while Ahsoka steps in to protect him.
Hurry, Ron. We don't have much time.
Ron finally sets the charges and the group retreats as the timer counts down. The shrine pulses violently as if sensing its impending destruction. The team makes it back to a safe distance just as the explosives detonate, sending a massive shockwave through the underground chamber. The shrine collapses in on itself and the oppressive energy dissipates. Darth Voldemort screams in rage as he feels the shrine's destruction. His power begins to wane. Harry shoots another spell, this one holding him in place as Anakin rushes at him, his lightsaber slicing through his wand.
This ends now. Expulso!
With a powerful spell fueled by his love and courage, Voldemort flies backward, the Dark Lord's form beginning to disintegrate. his connection to the Sith shrine severed. With one final scream of defiance, Voldemort is consumed by his dark magic. Without Voldemort or the Sith powers fueling them, his army falls into chaos. The wraiths begin to dissipate while Obi-Wan rallies the other defenders for a counterattack, driving the Death Eaters out of Hogwarts once more. After the battle, the Jedi make preparations to leave for Coruscant, but offer to take Harry and the others with them to see the rest of the galaxy. They already begun making a plan to open a branch of the Jedi Temple in Hogwarts so their students can learn from each other. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.